I welcome everyone to another episode of The Art. My name is Darryl, and today I'm joined by co-host, producer, songwriter Aaron Howard. We have a special guest today, singer, songwriter, and guitarist Eric Ramsey. Before we start this episode, I want to give you a little background on Eric. He's a special guy. Eric Ramsey is a singer and songwriter living in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's a favorite on the folk and blues festival circuits, not only for his dynamic, engaging performances, but for his open tuning and slide guitar workshops as well. Eric has garnered numerous nominations, awards, and accolades for his songwriting and performs at concerts and festivals nationwide. You're going to enjoy this first segment. Let's dig in. Eric, thanks for being with us, man.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited about this. You know, I love what we talked about in terms of your background, and we're going to kind of deep dive into that. In fact, we're going to be in your third part, in your third segment, we're going to listen to some of your music.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about that. But let's talk about what drives you musically as a songwriter, and give us just a little bit of your background.
I grew up in Kansas and came out here in '76 to go to college. I started playing guitar when I was probably 7th grade, you know, when you start realizing there are girls.
Yeah.
And played all through high school and early on in college, and then I quit for a long time. I didn't play for a long time. Raised a family and became a single dad and worked, and so I played very, very part-time. And about 10 years ago, my wife said, you know, you're having some local success here. Why don't you quit your job and see where this can go? So
great support, huh?
Wonderful support. I would not have accomplished anything that I've been able to accomplish without her support and her love. You know, so it's very cool. And so once I started performing full time, it's funny. We're talking about songwriting. I'd always kind of written a little bit here and there, and you know, I'd write songs for my kids' birthdays and stuff like that. And once I quit, I was an electrician. That's what I did for a living. And once I quit being an electrician, I was inundated with these songs falling out of the ethers or wherever they come from.
Floodgate open.
Yeah. And the only thing I can think of is that I finally gave myself the time, and I let myself be open to these things happening. But it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, there's another one. Oh God, there's another one.
It's kind of like Bernie Taupin and Elton John all of a sudden back in the 70s. Like, boom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I was writing for like 3 Dogs, and it was not that caliber of song by any means.
But prolific.
Yes, yeah, prolific. I attribute that just to having given the opportunity to have the time.
So what drives that now as a songwriter?
Well, you know, I hate to say it, but I think fear of writing a shitty song probably drives it more than anything else.
Great answer.
And you, as you know, you write 35 awful things, and maybe you get one. Maybe one is okay, or maybe one gives you a nugget you can work with.
They say you have to write at least 100 songs before, whatever that means.
I try to put what I see and what I feel into a form that I can share with people, rather than telling them stuff, you know, rather than being dogmatic, saying, well, this is what I think about this. Well, you put that in a song, and you couch it in a melody, and you make the lyrics maybe less dogmatic, and you can get a point across that maybe you couldn't get across otherwise.
Wow. So you just kind of let it flow and just kind of be a conduit for this creative process.
Yeah, sort of, to a point. And then, of course, you have to craft it, right?
Tell me about some of your influences. I appreciate that background and the kind of way that you go about it. And you know, I admire that in any songwriter, the way you put it. But what kind of influences can you grew up with, or at any time in your career that kind of influenced that?
Well, musical influences. I've always admired songwriters like Jackson Browne, of course. Who doesn't? Wow. Wow, it's across the board. You know, Hunter Thompson was a huge influence
Great
in the way
writer.
I think about things and the way I.
Great writer.
Edward Abbey is I don't know if you've heard of him or not. He's dead now, but he was a writer. Wrote a lot about the Southwest and about environmental issues and things like that. And he wasn't a songwriter, but I liked the way he wrote, and I liked the way his sentences flowed and everything. And I think all those influences kind of come to bear, I think, when you're creating something like that.
Do you try to tell a story? Is that what it is? I know as a songwriter myself, I like to tell a story.
Sometimes, yeah, if the song warrants that. And sometimes they're just stupid, Sometimes I've got a couple of songs that are, maybe they don't go from point A to point B, but they're, I suppose, some kind of a storyline. Yeah, maybe they all are.
Those resonate with the listener.
Sometimes it's just that you can feel it. It's like I don't know if this is true for you, but like you just know, okay, this is working, this is done, or this is something that I can play out and.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like, that doesn't, intellectually I want to massage it more, but it feels like it locked in.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I also think, though, that for me anyway, with a new song, it's not finished until I play it out 50 times.
Yeah.
Because it changes. Yeah, I think it changes. You see what people connect with, or you see what actually works in a performance state rather than a rehearsal state,
Because you're getting biofeedback.
You're getting biofeedback, and you've got the stress of performing it for an audience that kind of can dictate the way you put the song across. And sometimes you can add emotion to it or take emotion away from it, but it doesn't become finalized until I've done it a whole bunch of times for people.
You can send a song to your friends, family, and pets, and they're all going to love it.
Right.
Right? But when you send it out to industry people, or you put it in front of an audience, and you're up there, and it's just the guitar is between yourself and all of this energy in the room, and then you get back positive stuff from it. Creatively, that can really work for you in an advantage as a songwriter, or ready to sit down and produce this record, or to go to somebody like Aaron and say, okay, I think this is ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that it's a really interesting topic. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I found that performing out songs can be something that is great for fine-tuning it, like you said, but it can also, at least for me, be a danger because you have to consider the environment so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I write a lot of really emotional, really heartfelt songs, and it's like, if I'm at a folk festival, or I'm on the right stage, it slays and everybody's crying. Right. And if I'm at a resort, then it doesn't work at all. And I think it's I found myself in a certain period of life sort of moving toward more and more immediately entertaining music to perform because of who I was playing it for. And does that make sense? Do you interact with that? Do you have that issue?
I totally have. I had completely different set lists for different venues.
Yes.
I was going to ask that question.
And that's even within the realm of my original music. There are some songs that I will not play because it's important to me to play it, and I want people to listen to it, and I know that people aren't going to listen in this particular venue.
Sure.
So I don't bother playing it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to entertain.
Right. Well,
you want your group and your crowd and to enjoy the.
And I could see pushback on that. People being like, "Well, no, you should play." But I think that really, there are also contexts where, like, "Hey, my job is to make these people happy right now. Like, that's actually why they're paying me to be here. Right. So if I do my super emotional, awesome song that's going to kill in this other environment, but everybody there is like, hey, where's something good?
Oh, where's Brown Eyed Girl?
Well, yeah, where's Sweet Caroline? Exactly.
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is that I think I could see pushback, but it's not. There really is a thing as a songwriter when you go, this is my heart on paper, where it's like, you know what, this is something that I want to reserve for a situation where some sort of connection can happen. Mm-hmm. Not just in like a petty, like, oh, I want people to listen and why aren't they paying attention, but something can happen that's necessary. There's a communication, there's a back and forth that almost feels like part of the song. Does that make sense?
I love that.
Yeah. I think probably the communication is what makes the performance, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is a form of communication, and an important one. Eric, good stuff. Great first segment. And stick around for our second segment because we want to dive into the industry a little bit. We've been doing that on this latest round of our Big Yard Nation interviews. And we want to get Eric's take on some of that stuff. And we're going to do that in our next segment. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Eric, tell us a little bit about how fans can get in touch with you, how they can get your record.
Oh, well, I've got a whole garage full of these. They're available. All you have to do is go to ericramsey.net and I'll send you one. And then I'm on the usual social media things, and it's on Spotify, and it's on.
What's your social media handles?
Eric Ramsey Music.
There you go.
Both Instagram and Facebook, although most of the people watching this probably aren't on Facebook anymore. Twitter, I'm not really on Twitter anymore. I kind of lost interest in that.
Yeah.
But Instagram is Eric Ramsey Music, and Facebook,
same.
Eric Ramsey Music.
There you have it. Go on his socials. Tell them what you think. And if you like this, send it to your friends, send it to your collaborators. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming up. We've got 2 more segments we're going to listen to some of his music, in fact. And we're excited about that. So ericramsey.net is it. We're at Big Yard Nation. And of course, that's our handles on all the socials. And if you like this segment, click on the subscribe button. Let us know what you think. Share it, love it, like it, whatever the case may be. We're just glad that you're here with us today. So stick around for some more Eric Ramsey. We'll be right back. And when you're out there getting to wherever it is you're getting to, I hope that all your dreams come true. Love your fate, love your fellow. Peace out from the yard. We'll be right back.